Could you tell me what's your opinion about Egypt after elections? I mean, how is Egypt under Muslim Brotherhood government?
Well, Egypt is still going through difficult transition. I mean, the revolution came for people asking for human dignity, equality, and freedom, and we still are not there yet. The country is very divided, very polarized. We don't yet have a proper constitution that sets out the basic values that we all need to subscribe to. We do not yet have a parliament, so the country is still going through a difficult time, and I hope we are in a position soon to focus on the priorities of the revolution. It just people need food on the table, need health care, need education, need housing. We still have 40% of the Egyptian under the poverty level. We still have 1/3 of the Egyptian cannot read and write. These are the priorities, and we should not continue to debate, what are, the differences, interpretation of religion. These are things for every human being, to decide for himself or herself. And let us just focus on the priorities right now. If I think, any basic set of values are not different in the sense that they're all focused on human dignity and basically the right of every individual to live in freedom and to be able to express himself or herself. And we still, after 60 years of repression, going through understanding what the democracy is about, how it works, how we can protect the rights of the minorities, how to protect the basic rights like freedom of religion, of expression, of freedom from fear, freedom from want. So all this we are in a learning process. We still are, going through the learning curve. But I'm optimistic that these young people who stage this uprising will soon take over and be able to lead Egypt to a more different future, as I call it, a new Egypt.
So the revolution is not over, in your opinion?
By any means, no, not by any means. The revolution goals, which, as you know, was bread, human dignity, freedom, social justice. We are not yet able to say that we have succeeded in any of these, of achieving any of these goals. It might take time, but we need to make sure that we are on the right track, that the revolution will not be aborted, or get taken hostage by any faction. Everybody need to work together, and everybody need to understand that we have a shared humanity. We all need to work on that and forget our superficial differences, the color, race, religion. These are not the issues at all. We need to focus on.
Dr. ElBaradei, do you think we are witnessing a kind of deja vu when we are dealing of the nuclear program in Iran? Because the United States used the argument of weapons of mass destruction to invade Iraq. So do you think we are witnessing something similar?
I don't think so. I hope not. I think it would be totally, utterly crazy to invade Iran or to attack Iran by force. I don't think there is any concrete proof that Iran is working right now to develop nuclear weapons. They are developing a nuclear capability, which are not different from what you have in Germany or Brazil or Argentina. But this is technology. Yes, it makes you able to develop nuclear weapon in a short period of time, but it doesn't mean that you are developing a nuclear weapon. It's a know-how. And this is very much motivated by competition of ideology in the Middle East, competition of power. And the only way to resolve that issue, the Iran issue, is through dialogue and trust building. Any use of force will be completely counterproductive. They will lead the Middle East into total Armageddon, in my view.
But don't you think it's very strange, this argument of the United States? Because if Pakistan, India, Israel may have nuclear weapons, why not Iran?
Well, I don't think anybody should have nuclear weapons, including the United States. I mean, I think continue to rely on the United States on nuclear weapons mean that sooner or later we will have nuclear weapon being used either by extremist groups, accidentally, intentionally, and we will end up in self-destruction. So we need to understand that we cannot continue in this 21st century on nuclear weapon. We need to find a better way to live together without relying on nuclear weapon or without relying on force in general. I mean, I think it's crazy. I mean, we have absolutely to change this mindset, and unless we do that, you know, we sooner or later, you know, we will destroy the entire planet. And I agree with you that you cannot continue to have nuclear halves, so you have 9 countries that rely on nuclear weapons and telling everybody else you cannot touch nuclear weapons. I mean, this is not sustainable. It is not going to lead us anywhere. This is common sense, common logic.
What about Syria? Do you see any relation between the campaign against Syria from the United States and the campaign against Iran? Do you see a relation?
Well, there's very much, unfortunately, a power game going on in the whole region, and everybody is trying to see an outcome in Syria that satisfy or provide or goes along with their geopolitical interests. So you have Russia and Iran on one side, you have the US and the Gulf countries and the West in another side. What they don't understand that the victims are the human beings who are being slaughtered every day, you know, and this is we have to have a security system that based not on geopolitical interests, not on Euro-Atlantic interests, but in really human solidarity. And we have to worry about the people who are dying in Syria, in Darfur, died in the Congo, died in Rwanda. These are the people, these are the human lives we should care about, Carlos. It is not the question of what is the outcome will impact on my narrow blinker geopolitical interests. Everybody is going to lose, and I hope we will find a way soon to stop the killing in Syria through a strong peacekeeping operation, and initiate a political dialogue to find out a settlement where everybody, you know, secure of his or her own life, and find a way for the majority and the minority, everybody in Syria, to live together. You know, that's the only way. But continue to just rely on sanction or continue, you know, to rely on or ultimately use of force is not going to resolve issues. You know, we should have learned from Iraq, but we don't seem to learn any lessons. You know, what we see happening in Iran, what we see happening in Syria, international community is totally inept, powerless. You know, and wait until things gets much worse and then rely on force, which makes things even worse.
And you think Brazil can play a role on helping to solve the Syrian crisis?
Well, I think Brazil is a big power right now. I mean, the 6th largest economy in the world, and I think, and I've been saying here, Brazil should be active, not only in the Syrian issue, in the Iran issue, in the global scene. Brazil cannot afford and should not, in my view, continue to sit on the bench. They should go to the field and start playing. You know, we know that the world is marked by double standard, and if you want to change the double standard, the inequity, the insecurity, you have to have new players like Brazil, like South Africa, like India. You cannot just have a completely rely on Western approach. This is one approach, but it's not the only approach. We need a global approach, a balanced approach.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Carlos, for sharing this dialogue with me.
Thanks a lot.